Everyone knows that Animal Crossing is a game that is supposed to be played daily, and for a game that has no plot or obvious direction, it may seem quite daunting and leave a lot of people asking, what am I supposed to do each day? So this video is all about what I do every single day in Animal Crossing New Horizons and some ideas for other things you can do. Not everyone can play first thing in the morning, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not really a morning player either. I've opened my island at 5 PM to show that a lot of the things I'm showing you can even be done if you play slightly later in the day. The first thing I do after Isabel's announcements, which on this day I actually had announcements, she's trying her best, and after the phone calls is check the mailbox. I do read every message and take any of the gifts I've been sent to check what they are, which today is a handmade apron from Mum and a facial mask from Portia. I think that's a hint, but my safety is obviously important to her. Next, I check the map to see if Red's visiting. If he is there will be an icon at the secret beach of his ginkgo leaf, but today is not that day. This may seem like such a small thing to do, but it'll save you a lot of time if you have no reason to head to your secret beach that day. The first laborious task I do is shake every tree on my island. As soon as I started, I noticed Sahara walking around, but we'll come back to her. You'll want to get your net out to start with because you are going to be attacked by wasps and you'll need to defend yourself. Why do you want to shake every tree if you're going to be attacked? Because each day, the trees on your island will drop up to approximately 15 bell drops, 5 wasp spawns, and 2 furniture drops. You don't need to shake the trees with fruit on them because they won't drop anything. I have lots of trees for more chances, but of these trees, a lot are fruit trees. So there's my first furniture drop. It's a stovetop espresso maker, pretty cool. If you haven't noticed, some parts of my islands are quite weedy. I'm growing a lot both for hedges and also I'm just lazy. In those areas, because there is something blocking the floor, nothing will drop, so keep in mind if you have areas blocking the ground by trees, you won't get a drop. Also, yes, I got stung twice. I am not a good bug catcher. I also noticed that pink cosmos had started growing, which was very exciting. Next on my to-do list is to find my money rock. I was really lucky that the first rock I hit was my money rock, so I didn't have to do too much running around. You'll notice that I messed up the final bag of bells from the rock. I'd highly recommend, if you don't already know the technique, that you dig 2 holes behind you before you start hitting the rock. The only reason I didn't with this one is because this particular rock's location is at the edge of my river, so I can normally get away with that as my barrier, but I didn't angle it quite right this time. Don't make my mistakes. Always dig the hole if you can. While searching for your money rock, you can make sure to pick up all of the materials that your other rocks drop. I don't do this every day, but it is a good way to make sure you always have crafting materials. Whilst I still have my shovel out, I go hunting for fossils. I've already finished my fossil collection, but they're worth finding to sell. I hadn't actually dug my fossils up for 2 days before this, which meant I had 6 to find. I normally start at the top of my island and work my way down. I also realised I hadn't shook a section of trees, so I quickly did that whilst I was there. During this, I did have a gold spot, and I know it bothers a lot of people that I won't plant a money tree, but I'm not planting it until I've designed more of my town. I know I can move it, but I play my way, you play yours. Once I've got all the fossils, I go straight to Blathers at the museum to get them assessed. If you sell basic fossils, they're only worth 100 bells a piece. Getting them assessed means you'll get a lot more. After I've done all the hard outdoor work, I get to do the fun stuff. Shopping. Before I go to Nook's Cranny, I make sure I've emptied any inventory I don't need or things I've left over from the previous day into my storage just to keep things tidy. When I get to Nook's Cranny, there are 3 things I do every time. The first, I check my turnip prices. I'm playing in the evening, so I will only get the PM price, but if you start in the morning, you can check then, but make sure to check your prices again after 12 PM. Second, I sell all unwanted bugs, fish, and inventory to get some bells. I don't always use the drop-off box because I prefer to get the full price of my items, so I would normally have fish and bugs left over from the night before. Third, I see what's for sale. I check both the limited items and what's in the cabinet. I like seeing what new walls and flooring there is because my house isn't decorated yet, and if I spot one that really catches my eye, I'll pick it up to store for later. I didn't go up to the limited section because I could already see what the items were and decided I didn't want them. The bathtub does look nice though. Next stop is the Able Sisters, where there are 2 things I am going to do. First, speak to Sable. I already have every design she can give me, but make sure if you don't, you keep talking to her until you have every one. I still speak to her because I love her and would never want her to think I don't like her or do anything to ruin our friendship. Second, I go to the fitting room. I don't even really look at the mannequins. Sorry, Mabel. I go straight here to look at every product. worked. On this particular day, there was actually something I wanted to buy. I normally find something I like every couple of days and then buy it in every single colour because I have no self-control. Because I forgot about it earlier, when I do all of my rocks, trees, etc., I would water my flowers, but because on this day it was raining, I didn't need to. It had actually been raining in my town for 2 days at this point, but any other time this is when I'd go around and water them. After I've been shopping is when I finally go around to talk to my villagers. I don't do this in any particular order or fashion, I just see who's inside and try to find who is outside. There's a Nook Miles reward for talking to all of your villagers every day for 50 days. I only have 8 villagers still, so this is ever so slightly easier for me because I have 2 less to find. When I spoke to Nate, he told me about his missing diary, but I'd actually found it the night before after he'd gone to bed, so I didn't have to go looking for it. Whilst I go around talking to my villagers, if I happen to encounter the one who is crafting, I'll take the DIY recipe then and there. You can get up to 3 DIY recipes in a day and they change every 3 hours after you've grabbed the first recipe. So because I didn't start playing until later on in the day, I only got 2 of my recipes because I wasn't going to wait until after midnight for my next. What recipe and reactions you get will be depending on your villager personality types, so I try to make sure I have one of each personality type on my island. At the moment I'm missing Cranky, so I don't have anything they can give me. Speaking of reactions, I try to hang around long enough for a villager to approach me every day. It doesn't always happen quickly and I can understand not wanting to sit and wait for one to approach you, but this is another thing you can do. Another thing you can do with your villagers every day is attempt to get their photo. When a villager presents their photo to you, that means you have become best friends, and it'll mean you can learn their final reactions. One of the easier ways to do this is by gifting them an iron wall lamp every day. Why an iron wall lamp? Because it is a gift that won't be put on display in your villager's house even if they say it will, and it's an item with a sell price of over 2,500 bells, which is the important part because that guarantees they will give you a gift in return. When I tried giving my gifts to Roald and Raymond, they kept sitting down each time I entered, so I hope you've enjoyed the footage of me running back and forth trying to just be nice. They also didn't give me their photos. Rude. Before we forget about her, Sahara. Don't forget to check out your visiting villager every day. Mine was Sahara, and as you can tell, I did kind of forget she was there until later on in the evening when I finally bought a rug from her. Likewise, make sure if you have a visitor to the campsite you go check out who it is. You never know, it might be a villager you're desperately after. Mine was Aurora, who I find very cute, but is unfortunately not one of my dreamies. So, sorry girl. Don't forget to check your NookStop every single day to get your Nook Miles rewards. If you keep a streak of 7 or more days, you'll get 300 Nook Miles a day. Also grab your KK song from Nook Shopping. You can check which ones you have using a stereo. Another thing you can do is visit other people's islands to water their flowers and getting them to visit yours for the same thing. Having other people visit to water your flowers increases the chance of producing a hybrid flower, and the more people who visit and water, the higher your chances increase. So if you're trying to make a lot of hybrid flowers for a particular section of your island, this is a great way to do it. If you do this every day, you'll have plenty of hybrids in no time. I also just want to talk about the golden watering can because again this is something you can do every day. I want to emphasize that this point is not confirmed, but through testing among friends, if you use the golden watering can and it then rains the next day, the rain appears to retain the effect of the previous watering. For example, if you use the golden watering can on a black rose and it then rains the next day, it appears there's still a chance of a golden rose spawning the day after it has rained. Again, this isn't confirmed, but it happened numerous times when tested and others on Reddit have made the same claims. Whilst I'm at other people's islands, I always make sure to check who their visitor is. I also check out their Able sisters and if they let me, their Nook's Cranny, even if it's just to catalogue something. Back on my island, I make time every day to do both fishing and bug hunting. I'm currently still looking for a few of the new bugs and fish that have shown up this month and also just to sell. On this particular day, because it was raining, I couldn't search for many bugs because they weren't spawning, but that did mean I had plenty of fish to look for. I make a point of always checking my pier because I still haven't caught the mahi-mahi, and I like to believe that if I wish hard enough, the shadow will just be there one day. Normally, it's just a sea bass though. The final thing I do every single day is come back after 7 PM to check for Celeste to get one of her recipes. Again, because it was raining, it was extremely unlikely that Celeste was going to show up. She was, however, on the island I was visiting, so that was extremely lucky. Just to clarify, as of at the moment, all we know about Celeste's appearance is that she will show up on nights with meteor shower weather patterns. If you have more than one in a week, she will pick a random one, hence why she's not there every time you have shooting stars. Unfortunately, not much is known of what counts as meteor shower or shooting star weather patterns yet. So that's my daily routine. I also work on my island a little bit each day to make it just a tiny bit more acceptable, but as you have seen throughout the video, this is Trash Island, and I like it that way. I hope you've enjoyed this video and maybe it has given you a bit more direction for what you can do each day. A like would be appreciated, leave a comment with your daily routines and maybe I'll add to mine. Subscribe if you want to see more more from me, follow me on Twitter and Instagram for what else I get up to. Links are in the description down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye!